Good evening. This is the charter school public hearing for the Eugenio Maria de Hostos Charter School, September 26, 2024. The Education Law Subdivision 2857, 1, and regulations of the Commission of Education, ANYCRR, Section 119.4, require the board to conduct a public hearing within 30 days of receipt of notice of an application for a new or revised charter school. The Board of Education of the Rochester City School District is conducting this public hearing regarding the renewal application of Eugenio Maria de Hosta Charter School. The purpose of this hearing is to gather community input to provide to the New York State Education Department. The Eugenio Maria de Hosta Charter School is proposing a renewal that would take effect on July 1st, 2025, allowing it to expand to serve 1,300 students in grades K through 12. Are there any speakers here this evening for this public hearing? All right, hearing none. All right. Do you have, you're speaking? Yes. All right, yes. Now, I thought you were going to be speaking at the. Yeah, no, I know that, but I just wanted to be clear. Sure.
Are we good? We clear? Okay, I just wanted to speak in support of the charter school. I did have relatives and nephew who attended that school, and because of the good work they did, he was able to receive a scholarship to a prep school for his time there. He was an excellent student, and I support the school. It's in our district that we serve as our organization, and I support the charter school 100%.
Are there any others to speak on behalf of this charter school? Hearing none, this hearing is now closed. Good evening. This is the Board of Education's business meeting. The date is September 26, 2024. We want to welcome our audience to our business meeting. I also want to acknowledge our state monitor, Alicia, is on Zoom, as well as Vice President LeBron being on Zoom this evening. So welcome, and we will get started with the meeting. We will start off with an act of reverence, and I'm just going to ask if someone would be willing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Lead us in that? Yeah. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Superintendent Blocker. Our next item on the agenda is the upcoming Board of Education events, and I'm going to turn that over to our clerk, Rahima Wen.
Good evening, Commissioners and community. The month of October will kick off with a board work session with the Council for Great City Schools addressing the student outcomes-focused governance implementation calendar, and that will begin on Tuesday, October 1st at 6 p.m. The following week, the board will convene the ESA committee as well as a special committee for, the special meeting for consideration of resolutions on October 8th at 6 p.m. The board will honor Hispanic Heritage Month on Thursday, October 10th at 5 p.m., and that will be here also at Central Office in this conference room 3A, 3B. We will move on to the finance meeting on October 15th at 6 p.m. and conclude the month with the business meeting on October 24th at 6:30 p.m. As a reminder, all board meetings are held here at the Board of Education building at 131 West Broad Street in conference room 3A, 3B. Those wishing to view the board meeting calendar can do so at rcsdk12.org/BOE calendar. As a reminder, any individual may register to speak by contacting the Board of Education office by noon on the date of the meeting. They may call 262-8525 or email boardofelducation@rcsdk12.org. No unregistered speakers may address the board, and no individual may speak on behalf of a registered speaker. The following information must be included at the time of registration, which is your name, telephone number, home address, affiliation, and the topic on which you wish to speak. Any individual who does not reside in the city of Rochester does not have the privilege of speaking at meetings except when an exception is granted by the chair of the meeting at which you are requesting to speak. Each registered speaker may address the board for up to 3 minutes. Speakers utilizing translators, including American Sign Language, may address the board for up to 6 minutes, 3 minutes being for the speaker and the remaining 3 for the translation. And finally, I'll remind everyone that the board continues to seek board committee representatives, parents, and students to join our committees. You may find out more information at rcsdk12.org/BOE-REP. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Nguyen. I failed to read our statement with regard to decorum in our meetings, as well as to read the board goals. I want to make sure that that our community understand what our goals are over the next 5 years, probably next 4 years at this point. So I'll start off by reading the decorum that we want everyone to have in board meetings. That includes people who come before us to speak, that includes board members, that includes everyone. The board expects district officials and the public to conduct themselves and speak in a respectful and courteous manner so as to model proper civility and decorum for students. Shouting, personal insults, vulgarity, profanity, attacks, revealing information prohibited by law, or any conduct that disrupts the flow of the business is considered to be out of order. The board may, among other steps available pursuant to law, take the following actions during the meeting to maintain a fair and efficient meeting: interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement exceeds allotted time, is personally directed, abrasive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that individual, whether in person or virtually, does not observe reasonable decorum or the conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Call for a recess of any adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such actions. And then our 23-28 board goals: increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 8 who are proficient on the New York State ELA assessment from 16% in September 2023 to 40% in June 2028. All students reading by third grade, increase the percentage of students proficient on third grade New York State ELA from 15% in September 2023 to 50% in June 2028. Increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 8 who are proficient on the New York State math assessment from 14% in September 2023 to 40% by June 2028. Increase the number of students earning 5 or more credits in ninth grade from 70% in September 2023 to 90% by June 2028. So those are the board's goals for that period. The next item on the agenda, no minutes to be approved for this meeting. And we'll go down to speakers addressing the Board of Education, and that will be Josh Mack, Dr. Mack.
Mr. Mack, you have 3 minutes.
Dr. Mack, please. And I would just like, before we get started, to clear the record, I'm not here on behalf of an employee of the district. I'm here representing the Rochester Parents Association. So I know the record wanted that to be clear. So I'll go ahead and begin. This is the same organization that brought forth the bilingual education and special education complaints that were successfully litigated through the U.S. Department of Education on behalf of our parent members. Okay, so on behalf of the Rochester Parents Association, Inc., I'm starting the timer now, I stand before you and bring your attention to growing concerns raised by parent members regarding the current policy, student withdrawal policy 5100. And I would just like to say, when implementing the policy, it is essential that we continuously review the data to ensure that it truly is benefiting our children. The most important question we must ask ourselves is, how are the children doing? If the answer is that the children are not thriving, then it becomes clear that the policy is not serving its purpose and adjustments must be made. This is the simplest yet most crucial measure of a policy's success, whether it is positively impacting the educational experiences and outcomes of our students. At the Rochester Parents Association, we fully recognize and appreciate the district's good intentions in raising the compulsory school age in an effort to improve student outcomes. However, this policy has led to unintended consequences that are negatively affecting the educational experiences of many students. We have heard directly from parents and students whose needs are not being met under the current policy. It is important to emphasize that this is not a debate over whether the policy itself is right or wrong. The intent behind the policy is clear and understandable, but we must assess whether it is truly working for our children. If it is not, then changes must be made. Additionally, I would like to remind everyone that the details of policy implementation and regulation fall under the purview of the superintendent and not the school board. The board's role to oversee broader policy objectives and getting involved in making specific adjustments to the regulations would go beyond the intended scope. Okay, we strongly urge that the superintendent to review these concerns carefully and work closely with these parents, students, and alternative education providers to create solutions that better meet the diverse needs of all of our students. This concern was brought forth several months ago to the legal counsel in the district. Unfortunately, it wasn't properly handled in our opinion, and now we have parents who have more concerns about this policy and the impact it's having on their children, and we would definitely like, I have the 3 major concerns listed here for all the board members, as well as 3 recommendations for actually moving forward to work collaboratively with these parents so they can have the outcomes that they deserve. Thank you for listening, and I'll have these copies available. Please make sure everyone gets a copy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. So the next item on the agenda, we have no advisory council reports. So I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment, promotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of particular persons, and to discuss matters of concern with the general counsel. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we will suspend the meeting at this time and come back and resume the meeting. Thank you. The Board of Education has resumed its business meeting, and so we will continue with our agenda and go down to board reports. There's no audit committee report, and so I'm going to go down to the ESA committee. Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, President Elliott. Please bear with me. I do have a lozenge in my mouth, a cough drop. Anyhow, the Equity and Student Achievement ESA Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. During the meeting, the committee accepted minutes from the June ESA meeting. Interim Superintendent Demario Strickland presented Part 2 of the 2023-24 year-end data, which focused on our secondary students. Deputy Superintendent Ruth Turner presented outcomes for the Restorative Hub. General Auditor Anissa Henry Wheeler, presented the special education audit. At this time, can I have a motion to accept the special education audit?
So moved.
Second. Moved by President Elliott, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you. Additionally, several reports, including the district's special education plan, were posted to board docs and are available for commissioners and the public. At this time, can I have a motion to approve the 2023 through 2025 district special education plan?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by President Elliott. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. The next ESA committee meeting of the whole will take place on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Santiago for the Community and Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
The Community and Intergovernmental Relations Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. During that meeting, the board reviewed and accepted the minutes from the January 6th, 2024 meeting. We also had the Student Leadership Congress President Hazel Roberts and Vice President Charis Jones Carter present the functions of SLC and how students can become involved with the SLC. The director of the Office of Family Parent Engagement, Keisha Holloman, presented the 2024 through 2025 Parent Engagement Plan, including meeting dates of the various parent groups. The committee ended the night with a discussion on the superintendent search process. The next CIGR committee meeting will be Tuesday, November 5th, 2024 at 6 p.m., where we'll speak about the legislative agenda and the legislative breakfast. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago, and now we'll go to the Finance Committee report. Vice President LeBron.
President Elliott, Vice President LeBron has asked that I read her report. She's
Okay.
not able to right now, unless you would like to read it.
That's fine.
Okay. Give me one moment. The Finance Committee did not convene this month, and at this time, we would invite Acting Chief Financial Officer Derek Blair to present the September 2024 unaudited financial report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm going to try to keep this brief, not go through each page of the financial report and stick to the overview. So pages 6 through 8 include our cash flow summary. Right now, our current cash flow position is $288 million. That has a positive $74 million from the same time last year. There's a cash flow projection on page 7. If you'd like to see the overall cash flow projections, you can take a look at that. All of the information in the pages, I'm not going to go through, but feel free to reach out to me for any questions. I'll be happy to get back to you on that. The revenue summary is on pages 9 through 10. It's revenue shows by revenue by fund and source. There were no changes in general fund or food service. There is a reduction of $69,000 in special aid. This is due to Perkins grant adjustment and the addition of several new grants that you can see in the summary. Our current projected revenue and revenue appropriations are right on budget for the year. It's still a bit early in the year to actually have this report show anything significant. It will have an impact a little bit later. The relevance you'll see as the year goes on. As you can see, there's very little difference from our projected budget. There's like 1.1% in the general fund. Special aid, 0. Same thing with school food service. Appropriations by function is on pages 11 through 14. These reports look at the Rochester City School District's budget by function. Right now, our appropriations are within budget. There's nothing really unexpected to report. Our available budget for general fund is 70%. Our available budget for special aid is 78%, and school food service fund is 64%. Section D is on pages 15 and 16, discusses SRSA and ARP. These reports are probably going to be taken off in time. We're more or less finished with them. There's only a 0.1% remaining in appropriations and a 7.6% remaining in revenue. And we're doing final reports, and that's going to be completed soon. The capital project budget status report is on pages 25 through 34. These reports show the spending progression on our approved capital projects. Our cash capital current month spend commitments is just under $5 million. And there's nothing really of major changes other than there was a transfer from contingency fund for a gym folding, for just the gym folding partition for $176,000. School food service, there's nothing really to report on that. Charter school enrollment is on page 35. And you can see that we currently have the actual enrollment for 24-25 is 7,964 for charter school. It's a 277 student increase from last year at this time. And the last section we're talking is discussing Oracle and the summary. Oracle right now, we're working on PP3 testing. It's going well. Right now in ERP, which is the financial portion of the project, we're working very hard on testing. Everybody's pretty burnt out. We're doing a lot of testing to make sure it's working appropriately. Only have found 15 defects so far. It's a very low rate. There's going to be more testing. SIT, system integration testing, is going to be coming next. After that, we're going to be doing some user acceptance testing. That's really all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions to, tell me your name again?
Derek Blair?
Yeah, to Chief Finance Officer Blair. When is expected for Oracle to launch?
7/1/25.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Motion to, yep. Is there a motion to accept the unaudited September 2024 financial report?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Commissioner Santiago. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Blair. The next report, board report, is the Human Capital Report, and that is Commissioner Malloy.
Thank you. Good evening. The Human Capital Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. During the meeting, we discussed the committee purpose and the 24-25 work plan. We reviewed these, and they are all available on board docs. The board reviewed and accepted the meeting minutes from May 21st, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting. Chief Miller and Senior Director Case presented the staffing and recruitment update, including staff spotlights for our lead school secretary, Edley Nieves, and lead teaching assistant, Elizabeth Cooper. They also reviewed with us the staff reconfiguration and transfer data. They updated us on Teach Rochester, staff vacancies, fast track hiring, and the Teacher Certification Action Plan, also known as TCAP. The board then discussed the superintendent search process regarding finalizing groups and individuals that the search firm will invite to the focus groups. The board was reminded of the updated timeline for the review of the superintendent goals, which we're slated to discuss this evening, which is slated for a vote during the October 8th, 2024 special meeting. Our next HC Committee of the Whole meeting will be Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy, and there's no policy committee report, and so I will go with the president's report. And I just want to first start off by welcoming all of our students and staff back for the 24-25 school year. If it's anything like last school year, it blew by. So I want to just say to our students and our staff that on behalf of the board, we wish you a wonderful year. I'm expecting great things to occur, that we are able to reach some of our goals for the year, and that we do the best that we can, and that we educate our kids from a position of strength, not as a deficit. So what I mean by that is, let's not use as an excuse anything. And what tends to be used in this district is poverty. Let's just make sure that we are doing our job, and if we do our job, poverty will take care of itself. So I want to make sure that I'm saying that because I think energy is drawn away from education because people are looking at people in poverty. And so I know that in the African American community, we know that education is the great motivator to get out of poverty. And I want to make sure that that is clear from the dais, and I'll continue to be saying that. We got to educate. There is this notion in the community, and they've got studies out there to say, well, because they're poor, they can't learn. And that's a barrier. Nope, let's just educate. We know it'll be challenging, but let's just educate our students. And so I just want to make sure that I leave that. We got to educate them. If we don't, we're going to pay for it in the back end. And we want to make sure we're invested in our kids as opposed to them becoming an expense on our community. And the next item is just proud that New York State Education Commissioner Dr. Betty Rosa was able to join us on the first day of school. She attended. I'm sure that the superintendent will speak a little bit more about that, but just excited about the fact that she was able to see some of our schools. Loretta Johnson, she saw a great work there, as well as Wilson Commencement. She was we visited that school as well. And so she is very encouraged by the work that she sees with our district, and very excited about this work, and she wants it to continue. We had our first board leadership meeting yesterday over at School 9 with Principal Jackson and her esteemed team over there. They're doing amazing work over there. And also like to just point out that they shared with us some of the highlights and the good work that the students from the Boys Academy did. We've got Stewart was Isaiah Stewart, who graduated from the Boys Academy, who's a basketball player, looking at doing some great things in our community. We've got students who've come back into the district to teach and to be in paraprofessional positions. So we're very proud of the work that they have done. And if you recall, School 9 is one of those schools that got off of the receivership list and is working towards being a distinguished school. So very exciting, again, with the work that Principal Jackson and Dr. Bernice Green and those folks are doing over there. And Principal Jackson will tell you in a minute, just because they live on, they're at Clinton Avenue, doesn't mean that they can't be educated and can't learn. And just really thankful for the work that her and her team does. And then just lastly, I just want to make sure that for this board, that we recognize the communications protocol, that we're not going to staff, we're going through the superintendent, and we're utilizing our communications protocol, because what I'm telling the superintendent and his staff to do is refer it back to the clerk so that the questions can get in the log and we can move it through there. So I'm telling you now, and I want people to hear that you have the right, any board member, to tell them to please defer it back to our clerk so that the questions can get on the question log. Not trying to be mean, but at the same time, there's a lot of work that the district is doing, and if there's these off questions that we need to spend, sometimes hours to try to do, it takes them off the work that we're doing, particularly when it comes to the board goals. And so I want us to be mindful of that and that we honor that process. And so with that, you'll see that I had some other things. Just want to shout out for the YWCA luncheon. We attended that. I understand that Commissioner Simmons was there as well. Were you there? Yep. Deputy Superintendent Turner and I attended that, and it was a great event, conversationalist-like with a sports agent, and just happy to be there. So with that concludes my report. And so the next item is the superintendent reports, and we'll start off with Superintendent Strickland for his presentation.
Good evening, President Elliott, Vice President LeBron, esteemed board commissioners, RCSD staff, and the greater Rochester community. Thanks for tuning in tonight and following along as I go through my superintendent's report for September 2024. There was so much excitement and enthusiasm to mark the beginning of the new school year on this first day of school earlier this month. As we all know, the start of the school year is a good feeling that no one ever forgets. We actually get to celebrate multiple starts to years as educators, September and January. So, yes, this was our second start this year. Throughout the first week of school, I had the privilege of visiting many schools across our district, and it was fantastic to see the high levels of positive energy and excitement and joy that's happening in our school buildings. It was definitely excited. I was excited to see a lot of students ready to embark on another year of learning and growth. And finally, I do want to thank our Honorable Commissioner of Education, Dr. Betty Rosa, and her team for joining us for her version of what she calls the opening bell, in which she, along with board commissioners and RCSD staff visiting Loretta Johnson and Wilson Magnet. We celebrated ribbon cutting ceremonies this month for 3 newly renamed schools. The first school, I was joined by Commissioner Malloy at the Ida B. Wells Barnett Elementary. It honors the renowned journalists and activists who fought against lynching and championed women's rights. The second was Austin Stewart Elementary, which a great amount of staff attended as well, and they paid tribute to, Austin Stewart pays tribute as he is an African-American abolitionist and entrepreneur who advocated for equality and established a successful business in Rochester. And then finally, yesterday, or excuse me, not yesterday. I'm getting all these openings and things mixed up. The final ceremony that we did attend was the Dr. David and Ruth Anderson Academy, School number 16, recognizing Dr. Anderson's significant contributions to the African American history of Rochester and Ruth Anderson's impactful educational work and dedication to preserving local history. And it was so great to just see Dr. Anderson in his great spirits. He was very emotional, but very pleased that we honored that school after him and his family. So, as you may have noticed, since being appointed interim superintendent, I have been aligning my presentations with the the priorities of the strategic plan. The first being goal 1A, which is to increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 8 who are proficient on the New York State ELA assessment from 16% to 40% by June 2028. And as you see, in 2022 and 2023, we had 15.8%. That was our baseline. And last year, we came just a bit shy of even reaching that baseline, coming in at 15.2% for the 2023 to 2024 school year. We had a 0.6 percentage point decrease, which is not even significant, but nonetheless, it was not the increase that we were looking for. However, I do want to take the opportunity to recognize schools on the next slide that showed who actually met the goal of 20%, which was the actual benchmark for this for the last school year. Those schools are school number 23, school number 46, school number 15, school number 19, school number 52, school number 53, and school number 34. They all reached the goal of 20% of next. One of the things I want to continuously mention here on the dais is that this is the year of unprecedented growth, and not only do we celebrate proficiency, we also celebrate students that have worked hard to have increases. So I wanted to celebrate 3 schools that had the greatest amount of growth on the 3 through 8 ELA assessments. Those schools were school number 16, school number 15, and school number 9.
I was writing.
Continuing on with priority number 1, all students reading by 3rd grade increased the percentage of students proficient on the 3rd grade New York State ELA from 15% in September 2023 to 50% in June 2028. Again, here, we had a baseline of 15.0% for the 2022-2023 school year. We had a slight decrease at 0.2% to going down to 14.8. Even though we have that slight decrease, I did want to take this time to recognize those individual schools that actually did reach the outcomes of for grade 3 for 2024. Those schools were school number 19, school number 23, school number 15, school number 52, school number 16, school number 34, and school number 46 all reached the goal for their 3rd grade over 22%. And again, always going to celebrate the greatest amount of growth. It's a journey, not a sprint. But the top 3 schools with the greatest growth were school number 16, school number 29, and school number 34 for grade 3. Next, reporting out on goal number 1C, which has increased the percentage of students in grade 3 through 8 who are proficient on the New York State math assessment from 14% in September 2023 to 40% by June 2028. I am excited to announce that we did have a 2.7 percentage increase going from 11.8% in 2022-23 to 14.5% in 23-24. So we should give all of our schools a round of applause for that. And again, celebrating those schools that met the metric over 18.8%, which is the actual interim goal that is in the strategic plan. We have school number 23, school number 25, school number 52, school number 16, school number 46, school number 19, school number 34, school number 15, and school number 54, all scoring above 18.8% for their school communities. And lastly, again, going to announce the top 3 schools with the greatest growth. That was school number 16, School of the Arts, and finally, school number 25 had the greatest growth on the 3 through 8 New York State ELA examination, or math exams. Once again, the RCSD is offering free PSAT and SAT exams, and both exams have moved to a digital platform this year. Students in grades 9 through 12 will have an opportunity to take the exam at their school between Tuesday, October 1st and Thursday, October 31st. Please reach out to your child's school counselor for specific testing dates at your school. The SAT is an important step for any student thinking about college, not necessarily made up your mind about going, but thinking about college. It gives future colleges a snapshot of a student's skills and knowledge and provides access to scholarships and national merit awards that can be utilized to help build a student's college enrollment portfolio. Additionally, the PSAT and SAT exams are also connected to the College Board's career assessment, which will help students determine their career interests and paths. Once again, these examinations are now offered for all high school students grade 9 through 12, free of charge. Families, please make sure you are having your students take these exams so that we can unlock some additional potential that they may have as it pertains to their post-secondary careers. We're celebrating 30 years of School of the Arts on Prince Street. This year, School of the Arts, or SOTA, is celebrating its 30th anniversary at its current location. School of the Arts was founded in 1980 as an experimental program at Wilson Junior High School. In 1981, the school transferred to Monroe High School, known as the School of the Arts at Monroe. In 1994, the school moved to its current location on Prince Street. To celebrate this anniversary, the school is adding a cabinet to the lobby to display a permanent collection of artworks. Currently housed in offices, the display will make student art more prominent for all to see. Moving on to priority number 3.
Yeah, let me just interrupt for a minute. We need to have the attention of our board members because we can hear the noise. Thank you.
We kicked off the start of the school year on Tuesday, September 3rd at Monroe High School with our Superintendent Conference Day, and I'd like to reiterate our vision for the year, which is activating dreams and unlocking potential. We had some great insights from New York State Regent Hale and Deputy Superintendent Turner and myself. The highlights of the day was Dr. Christopher Emden, our keynote speaker, who challenged us to bring some creativity and a fresh perspective to our teaching. I know this gave me a lot of energy and inspiration heading into the start of the school year, as well as it did with our staff. Continuing on with priority number 3, recruit, grow, and retain. Our work continues to build a team of dedicated educators. We're excited to partner with the Department of Labor and Action for a Better Community at 2 recruitment events happening in the month of October. For more information, please visit our website website at www.rcsdk12.org/careers. This month, our New York State Teacher of the Year, Zach Arens, visited the White House for its first ever back to school night celebration. Zach, a music teacher at school number 54, was invited by First Lady Jill Biden. I want to mention he also was a great teacher and brought his fantastic principal along, Mrs. Demetria Lawton Greggs. He was in our nation's capital with colleagues from school number 54 to celebrate the new school year with families, students, and educators from across the country. The event featured a tour of the White House and wrapped up with some activities for families on the South Lawn. Next, I am thrilled to announce that Associate Counsel Ryan McDonald has been selected as a 2024 40 Under 40 honoree by the Rochester Business Journal. This is a prestigious honor given to individuals under the age of 40 who excel in their careers and contribute significantly to their communities. Ryan has been with the district since December of 2022. He will be honored on Tuesday, November 12th, during an awards ceremony at the Strong Museum of Play. Congratulations to Ryan on his accomplishment. I appreciate, as well as all of the staff, all that you do for the students, families, and staff of our district. I wish I could join him, but I'm turning 40 already next month. Next, congratulations.
Babies.
Congratulations to Valerie Cristoforo at Wilson Magnet High School for being honored as a recipient of the Golden Apple Award from News 8. Ms. Cristofaro is an English teacher and she is in her 30th year teaching. She was nominated for the award by a former student, Ariana King, who is a sophomore at Buffalo State University, where she is studying to become a teacher and hopefully is for the RCSD. The Special Education Parent Council and our Special Education Department hosted a resource fair at school number 33. This was all parents and caregivers of children who are enrolled in our special education programs in our district. Community partners were available to offer resources that support students with disabilities from pre-K to post-secondary. The goal of the recess fair was to create an inclusive space that celebrates diversity, embraces the unique abilities of our students, and promotes the varied special education programs and services in our district. I hope you will all join us for a celebration here at Central Office next month to honor Hispanic Heritage Month. Students in the Rochester City School District will be recognized for their high academic achievement, community service, and leadership. A special award will be given to honor individuals who have made great contribution to the Rochester community. We hope to see you all there. We want to thank the facilities team for all the work they did to get the buildings ready for the start of this school year and with all the moves that had to happen over the summer. And I want to just give you some of the statistics that are out there. All schools successfully opened and they all required some repairs of some sort. There were anywhere from 25,000 to 30,000 boxes used for the moves. There were 35 move matrices defined, and there were 535 internal moves. There are new desks for 250 teachers and 3,000 students. Please all, let's really congratulate our facilities team for their amazing work in helping our reconfiguration go off without a hitch. And a quick update on our Invest in Tomorrow. Today I actually was able to attend the ribbon cutting at the new middle schools, Andrew Langston. That was 5 p.m. today. Fantastic turnout, met the Langston family who was here. They were just very excited and pleased and gave us some welcoming words. yesterday we had the ribbon cutting for Dr. Freddie Thomas. President Elliott was able to join, and it was fantastic to see Mrs. Thomas, 98 years young, join us with her full spunk and all. And I will go on record, Ms. Thomas, I will call you today. Excuse me, tomorrow, but I did not forget about you. It was just a long day. But it's great to see what we are doing as we honor the legacies of our families after these fantastic community members. And I'm excited for Loretta Johnson Middle School. That'll be next Thursday, October 3rd at 5 p.m., and that will take place at 200 Genesee Street. And finally, I will continue to reiterate, this is the year of unprecedented growth. Thank you for your attention, and I am here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Superintendent Strickland. I just wanted to also share my experience with parent involvement. What I mean by that is, because I had to take my niece to school 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see families out there bringing their children to school. You see parents walking their children to school. There was this notion that parents were not involved. But from what I saw and what I continue to see as I travel, that our parents are totally involved, and they want to make sure that their kids are there every day. I happened to see a family walking, was a mother and her 4 children walking what I believe was from Freddie Thomas back up through Upper Falls Boulevard. I'm not sure how far up she went, but the notion that, people want to say that our parents are not involved, that is a false narrative, and I want to just make sure that that is cleared up today. And I do just want to go on record. I think with the reconfiguration, that was one of the most organized processes that I've seen since I've been here 19 years, that I've seen, because I thought that that was going to be really a cumbersome project, but from what I see, I mean, Jacob and his team hit it out of the park, and so I just want to acknowledge that. And also just acknowledge with regard to Dr. Freddie Thomas. I didn't get a chance to say this yesterday, but Dr. Freddie Thomas was a chemist and was at the U of R, but also he had young men around him. So there were a lot of young men over the years who sat under the feet of Dr. Freddie Thomas. And I want to make sure that that is highlighted, that he took, not only was he, and lived right on Skew Street, lived right off of North Street. So just want to acknowledge the work, not only in terms of his profession, but also in terms of him helping other Black men and helping to mentor them. So let me just open it up for questions. Commissioner Santiago?
Yes, I just wanted to very quickly give a shout out, the third to last slide, to Principal Burrows. We had a ribbon cutting at the Thurgood Marshall Middle School. I just want to give props and congratulations to Principal Burrows, interim superintendent, and I were there at the ribbon cutting, and it was great to see the work that Principal Burrows is doing over there. She's really a treasure in this district, and so just wanted to give her a shout out.
Any other remarks? Commissioner Malloy?
Thank you so much, Dr. Strickland, for your report. Really great stuff happening district-wide, so thank you so much. Also, just wanted to say I really appreciated the updates on academic progress, and as we move towards our progress monitoring calendar towards these goals, it was great to see that we've already made some interim progress there. So thank you for that report.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, thank you, President Elliott. Again, echoing Commissioner Malloy's sentiments around the academic progress. It's incremental, but it's moving in the right direction, and I'm excited to see it continue in the manner that it is, and hopefully we will reach our goal. Matter of fact, we'll just claim that. So thank you for the work that you're putting in. President Elliott, you spoke about, the reconfiguration and it being organized. And it made me think about the folks who converted some of the schools, and I forget the name of that team right now, forgive me, interim superintendent, you might remember, but anyhow, the type of notice they had and the fact that they were able to pull it together, they actually had a whole thing here at central office to celebrate, and I just want to commend them, and I would love to call them by name, but I can't think of it right now, and I hate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yeah.
Commissioner Griffin.
Lastly,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
wanted to
Forgive
say
me.
that, yes, to the schools that have been renamed, it was a pleasure to make it to some of the ribbon-cutting ceremonies that of Rochester Early College finally having their own school, and then, of course, Dr. David and Ruth Anderson. And to your point, that history that you just spoke about, Dr. Freddie Thomas, there's such rich history here in Rochester, and I truly hope that our school communities learn not just the names of their new schools, but the spirit of the people who they've been named after, that they understand the excellence in which they are called to be.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons, because these people have really made a mark in our community, and they need to be recognized, and our succeeding generations need to know who they are. Commissioner Griffin, did you have any comments?
Yes, I just wanted to reflect on the schools that have grown in 16, 34, 46, 52, just to name a few. But I also want to pay close attention to number 16 school, where Dr. Gallo was instrumental in the growth of 16 school and on the brinks of coming out of receivership. So I wanted to acknowledge her because she was very instrumental. Now we do have Mr. Ryan Clear over at the school that is walking in her footsteps, and I support him as well. And I know that he will do very well over there with the team that he has. So I just wanted to mention that and give them a shout out. But that is it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Did you want to respond?
Just two clarification points. One, I wanted to second the Thurgood Marshall opening. She is the picture, and not only that, she named her houses after people that were influential in her journey. That's Principal Burrows. I get the privilege of being one of those individuals, as I hired her as a principal along with Mr. Larkin, Ms. Toya Wilson, and Mr. Ali Abdullah Mateen. And then finally, John Parsons was the individual who thought of the idea to recognize all the individuals that were involved in the reconfiguration. And we had a little nice celebration up here. Wanted to also shout out HCI. We did recognize them at the Human Capital meeting for all of the, filling positions as much as possible. And then we, school number 16 is still in receivership, but they are on their way considering this information we showed today, and I'm extremely proud of that school and where it is going. But thank you for acknowledging that.
A lot of great things, very exciting. Thank you, Superintendent Strickland. Superintendent Blocker, happy new school year to you.
Happy new school year. Happy new school year to everyone. I'm excited that the year has started. It has been great to have kids in the building again. So good evening, President Elliott, Vice President LeBron, commissioners, and the Rochester community. I'd like to start out by highlighting our sports teams at East. We are offering 22 different teams this fall for our 7th through 12th graders. We have over 400 scholars participating in some type of athletic activity. We have volleyball, football, cross country, cheerleading, soccer, swimming, and girls tennis. And if you see on the picture up there in the middle, a typical week at East has over 25 athletic contests that are taking place over Monday through Saturday. So we're very proud of our athletes and their commitment that they make to both academics and to build community. East was able to be a part of the HBCU Football Classic in Rochester by hosting some of the team events. Albany State from Georgia had their band, cheer team, pep team, dance team, and flag twirlers entertain the East Scholars in a pep rally. The football players met with our football team. E-scholars had the opportunity to get a taste of the HBCU way of life, and they loved it. Some scholars and parents were also able to attend the actual football game from tickets that were given away. It was a great experience for East. We had our annual open house for all families and scholars at East. The lower school hosted families in their rooms. The upper school hosted families and community partners in the cafeteria by department. We also had the Monroe County Board of Elections there to help get more individuals signed up for the upcoming elections. It was a great kickoff to our year. Our freshmen at East have gotten off to a great start. As we've talked about many times, the success of our ninth graders is indicative of what the graduation rate will be 4 years later. We do a monthly town hall for each of our cohorts, and for this one, our current 10th graders were invited back to share wisdom with the new ninth graders. A Freshman Academy weekly newsletter goes out Friday night that highlights everything that has gone on that week and upcoming events for the following week, as well as celebrations and shout outs to students. Our Freshman Academy has also adopted Character Strong, and the focus has been on building community and celebrating differences. In addition to our monthly cohort town halls that we do to unite our students, we also hold a bilingual town hall. We are now at the point where our bilingual population is our largest population, and it really is a great opportunity for them to hear information in their native language, create unity with one another, and to advocate specifically for needs that they may have at East. We're very proud of them. This next slide is a slide that shares, if you'll just hang on 1 second till I get there, our transition team updates. So at this time, all teams have been finalized with representatives from the U of R, RCSD, East, parents, and scholars for input. Recently approved the RTA collective bargaining agreement. The East staff attended the opening day with Superintendent Strickland and Chris Emden. East principals started attending the RCSD principals meetings this month. Meeting dates have been set for the core team through December, and I have joined the weekly executive meetings with the RCSD leadership. We have found some challenges of finding time for all constituents from the different groups to meet to provide input. We are starting to share with our families at our family and community engagement meetings all of the different events that are going on with the tenant teams, so they have an opportunity to provide input there. Going on to updates from the New York State goals, as Interim Superintendent Strickland said, for priority 1A, 3 through 8 ELA, I'm proud to say that East also exceeded the district goal of 20.2%. Our math for 1C did not meet the district goal. We were at 6.6%. But as I tried to indicate before at a meeting, I want to explain that we also had 40 scholars that took the algebra regents that are not included in that category, and 34 out of 40, or 85% of the 8th graders, passed the algebra regents.
All right.
And then this next slide is just to give you a current status of where we are. My hope is that every meeting I provide with you an update exactly where we are on what the goals are. So our 3 through 8 proficiency for ELA, as we just found out, was 20.2%. Our math was 6.6%. We do not have any current freshmen that have earned 5 or more credits. We are implementing restorative practices at 100%, both of our schools. Our lower school out-of-school suspension incidents as of 9/23 were 0. Our upper school out-of-school suspension incidents were 0. Our chronic absenteeism for lower school is at 34.3%, which is drastically below what our goal is for this year, and I truly hope that continues. Our upper school is at 31.1%. Our lower school daily attendance, 85.8, and our upper school daily attendance, 85.5. For our cohort for the graduation rate, we have 15 that have graduated early, so we're at 6.7%. And for the dropout rate for the cohort of 2021, we have 16 at a rate of 7.2%. So my hope is that each month you'll have a pulse on what is happening at East, just as we do on a daily basis. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Blocker. I'll open up if there are any questions. I'll start with Commissioner Griffin.
I just want to say to Superintendent Blocker that I am congratulating you on running your ship the way you do, and that you are not throwing your anchor down to slow them down. You're actually letting that boat sail, that ship sail, and we can see the growth. I hope that one day that we can get all the schools to be ran like that, for all of us to run the ship like you've run yours. I want to see the growth within our other schools. Having 25 different sports activities within one school setting is where we should be now with all of our schools. We should be with lacrosse, we should have golf, and all these other sports that are in East right now. And I will always reflect on when I went to school that we had all of the basic sports. And if we could have maintained that status, we would be where you are at right now with all our schools, and it would be less violence, and it would be more kids graduating. So I do applaud you on that. I also wanted to touch base on the fact of the HBCU. I wanted to apologize to all the schools that were not able to see that fantastic event or experience that, because even though I was not a graduate of an HBCU college, I was a graduate of Buffalo State College. They often say now that's the new HBCU, but that is an amazing experience, and it was also a missed experience from a lot of our students who were not able to attend. So as a commissioner, I want to apologize to our children and our staff and everyone that was not knowledgeable of the event. But that being said, it was a fantastic event, and something that kids, I believe, if they had a chance to see it, would be amazed, and it could have been life-changing, and also a parent engagement moment. So I want to put that out there to everyone, that I myself as a commissioner do apologize for that. And I know that next year it's going to be bigger and greater, and we will all be collectively involved. So here again, I just want to thank you for all that you do and all that you've done with East High School thus far. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to also say that the HBCU event, the mayor has a commitment for 5 years, and so this was the first year that it was done, and so anytime something is done, initially, there are lessons to be learned, and so hopefully we're learning our lessons for that. Any other questions for Superintendent Blocker?
No, I just
Commissioner-
want, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your presentation, Superintendent Blocker, and also I really appreciated the academic information that you provided us as we try to strive to meet our board goals. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Simmons?
Thank you. I wanted to also just acknowledge the work historically you've done in this district and the beautiful work you did over at East High School and continue to do. And so just very appreciative. And kudos for the academic success that continues. And yes, the HBCU event was in fact wonderful. I enjoyed it very much. And to your point, President Elliott, I'm sure we'll have some other things. I don't think it was a district-led event, to my knowledge. So, but we have the opportunity to engage on a deeper level. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Santiago, last but certainly not least.
Yes, I just wanted to also share the sentiments and congratulations to you. for the work that you're doing over there, and hoping that as we go through the transition process, that none of this is lost, and that we ensure that the culture that you guys have created through the EPO is continued, and is shared with the district, so we can continue to move forward in that direction. And we've already had conversations on many of these programs staying in the school even after the EPO is over. It doesn't mean that the partnership and the collaboration has to end. And so my hopes is as the transition happens, that although the EPO is ending, that we're still collaborating and working with each other with East and U of R, but also there should be conversations on going broader than just East and U of R. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago. Vice President LeBron, I forgot, I was remiss in asking you if you had questions for Superintendent Strickland. Do you have any questions for Superintendent Strickland or for Superintendent Blocker?
No, not at this time. Thank
All
you,
right,
President.
thank
Elliott.
you, thank you. My apologies. All right, so we will go to the resolutions, and I will start with, and if it's okay with my colleagues, we'll bundle them. Is there a motion for resolutions 218 through 231?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 218 through 231? I had one question in reference to Resolution 231. The language, I was unclear, just some, to explain some language. So in the Resolution 231, the Resolution 212 that is amending, what is this? When you look at the rationale that says employee was previously tenured and provided proof after original board vote, this caused a change in tenure by education law. What does that mean?
Thank you, President Elliott, for the question. So when we hire teachers, they may have previously been tenured in another district, but they need to provide us proof of that. And so sometimes an individual will start, and it may take them some time to provide us that proof. But when they do provide us that proof, we then have to, by law, update their probationary period down from 4 years to 3 years. And so that's all that this is a reflection of. Depending on where they previously worked, they may not be able to get that before they're able to start working with us.
So does that mean that they can get tenure in another state, or we're talking exclusively New York State?
Exclusive to New
Okay.
York State.
All right. All right. Any other questions in reference to resolutions 218 through 231? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Very quickly, I to every resolution besides resolution 226. And yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
And I'm an aye for all.
All right. Thank you, Vice President. Is there a motion for resolution 232?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to resolution 232? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions 233 through 235?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 233 through 235? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Did you say nay? Vice
I
President?
said aye.
Said aye.
Aye, all right, thank you. Is there a motion for resolution 236?
Motion.
Moved
Second.
by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. Any questions or comments related to resolution 236? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, thank you. Is there a motion for resolutions 237 through 242?
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 237 through 242? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Vice President. All right, it carries unanimously. Is there a resolution, a motion for Resolution 243, moved by Commissioner Simmons? Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Any questions or comments related to Resolution, did I say 243?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a quick comment.
Ms. Santiago?
Yes, it's great to see this program happening in our Office of Adult Education. But just like to say that it would be great to see, just as something that would be great for the district. It would be great to see this happen in our high schools also.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. And I said all those in favor. I mean, we got that and we got the vote?
No.
We haven't voted.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, thank you. Is there a motion for Resolution 244?
So moved?
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santiago. Any questions or comments related to Resolution 244?
Just to, similar to Commissioner Santiago, yes, I love this program, and it goes so far back. And the fact that it continues is
Your microphone.
exciting, so yes.
Put your microphone on.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Did you guys catch it?
No.
Say it again.
I'm excited to see this program continuing in our district, very excited about it.
All right. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Vice President and my colleagues here. Is there a motion for Resolution 245?
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to Resolution 245? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion for Resolution 246 and 247.
So moved?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Any questions or comments related to Resolutions 246 and 247? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Can I very quickly just add something? Very quickly. Just want to give a shout out to the Rock City players and all the arts programs that will be coming through Resolution 247. It's great to see our young people be able to express themselves in arts and their talents.
Commissioner, a lot of great things are going on in the Rochester City School District. A lot of great things. Thank you.
But can I, President Elliott?
Vice President, yes.
Yes, shout out to Rock City players, and they're going to be doing The Wiz this year. And they were able to go to Broadway and take the kids this summer, and just an amazing experience for our students across the district. So shout out to them.
Thank you, Vice President. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for Resolutions 248 through 254?
So moved?
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to Resolutions 248 through 254?
I'm sorry. For 249, we haven't, did you bundle these?
I did, but you could ask questions.
Yes, can you have, let's explain 249 and 250, what exactly? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you just explain for me the 249, Resolution 249 and 250? I was trying to grasp everything, and I just want to make sure that I understand it. So if you can just an overview for me, please? Thank you.
Sure. I'll start with Resolution 249. It is during the 23-24 school year, suburban school districts provided required services for students residing within the district but who attended non-public schools within the suburban school districts. And there's a list of those 11 school districts and the amount that they are entitled for providing those services.
Okay. And then 250, yep. Thank you.
250 is the annual school improvement plans that schools put together and gets approved by the Board of Education. And each of them are included in there and lets you know the status of each of the schools in terms of whether they're receivership, CSI, and so forth.
So is there anything that we get out of this that is it student outcome initiatives? What exactly does this do? I just want to make sure I
that's fine.
understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what this is that each of the schools works together with their stakeholders and develop their school improvement plan, which is required by New York State educational law. that's submitted to the state, and also the board is asked to approve those plans.
Okay, will we get some kind of data back on this stating how successful these were? Is in the future? I mean, I would like to know if we're giving this money out to this organizations or this initiative, I want to get feedback to know that it is really working. I think that's one of the things that we need to do to ensure that it's working. Is
Yeah,
that something that we will do?
There's no money involved. It's that the schools have to write their school improvement plans every year. So this is actually the documentation that the schools and their stakeholders have developed that then they spend a whole year implementing as part of their school improvement plans, which includes what strategies they will use to improve student outcomes.
Right, but that student plan, we have to know if that student plan is working. How do we know that if it's working or not?
Various ones have different matrix.
Okay,
Because there's a
sorry,
lot
I
that goes
didn't wanna
into
cut
that.
you off, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And we typically report it out at each of the different reporting phases during, for high schools during the marking period, after assessments. So we're often through ESA sharing that data with the board.
Superintendent,
When does that data come forth?
Various times of the year. I'll let Superintendent, I think he wants to chime in.
Superintendent wants to-
Yep, just chiming in. Thank you, Deputy Turner, explaining yourself very well. We will know the results of these comprehensive, the school comprehensive education plans at the end of the year. So that data that I provided you in my report earlier, that is kind of a precursor to let you know if school improvement plans are actually working or not. It's an ongoing process, but through now providing the reports through board goals and the interim goals, you will know that these improvement plans are in fact in action. It's like the school's inputs to actually say what they're going to do to improve their student outcomes for their schools.
I guess I do understand that. My concern is that those plans that they set in place for these schools, are they actually achieving what they have on those plans? That's just my concern, because I want to know that we're moving, what direction we're moving in. And I think that's where the transparency isn't with me, so that's why I'm asking the question.
So I think, are they listed somewhere where the board members can get access to them?
They're attached to the resolution.
Okay, so, well, I
And
saw.
board members were sent
Yeah.
last week on board docs. It's there. You have to read it, but it's there.
So, what I would also recommend is that all of us who are liaisons to various schools, that we become familiar with the plan, so that as we go into the schools, we can have those conversations with the team in the schools.
Yeah, I do. I visit my schools, so yeah, I am very on board with that. I just don't know about the other ones.
All right. Any other questions or comments related to resolutions 248 through 254? Commissioner Santiago?
Yeah. Very quickly, I just want to say I was able to look at the plans that the schools have decided and made. I just want to wish luck to them and much success to them throughout this school year as they push, in the next few school years as they push to achieve these plans.
All right, thank you. So all those in favor of resolutions 248 through 254?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will abstain for resolution 251. All right. Okay. And that's because I work there, so.
Okay.
Just so that you know why I'm abstaining. Is there a motion for resolution 255? Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to resolution 255?
This is exciting. I'll just add that.
Okay. So did we sort of do this, the cart before the horse, so to speak? All right, okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, did I ask if there were any questions?
Yeah, I just
All
made
right.
a comment.
Did you have a question, Commissioner Malloy?
No, I just made a comment that it's exciting to see
Okay.
these name changes.
All right. Commissioner Santiago, did I see your hand?
No, ma'am.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 257?
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago, seconded by, was that Commissioner Malloy?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. That concludes the resolutions for for consideration. And now we have unfinished business. The first item under unfinished business is the superintendent goals. I'm going to
Excuse me. Thank you.
allow, am I to allow the commissioner, the superintendent to talk about this? Is that, all right. Superintendent Strickland?
Yes, good evening again. So after receiving feedback from you all during the last board meeting, I removed some of those financial points or portions of that whole goal from the actual document. And I then came up with interim goals. The interim goals are, I want to say, playoffs of the actual board goals. And those are the items that you will be receiving reports on that are connected to the school improvement plans. So just, I didn't want to butt in earlier when I know I was going to be saying this now. We will know if school improvement plans are working effectively as a result of the presentations that are provided regarding these interim goals. So as you can see, we have 1G, 1A. That is a play off of the first page, which is 1A. And that is to decrease the number of grade 3 through 8 students that are 2 or more grade levels behind as measured by the iReady reading diagnostic end of year by 7.5% from 44% to 40.7%. 1G, 1B is to decrease the number of grade 3 students that are 2 or more grade levels behind as measured by the iReady reading diagnostic end of year by 10%, which is from 55% to 49.5%. 1G, 1C is decreasing the number of grade 3 through 8 students that are 2 or more grade levels behind as measured by the iReady math diagnostic end of year by 7.5% from 47% to 43.5%. And then that has a second interim goal that is connected to 3 through 8. I just want to really focus on our grade 3 students, not saying that any other grade level is more important than the others, but really just hone our focus in on strategies and what we are doing for specific grade levels so that we don't continue to bite off more than we can chew. Decrease the number of grade 3 students that are 2 or more grade levels behind as measured by the iReady math diagnostic end of year by 10% from 52% to 46.8%. And then finally, we have goal 1G, 1D, increase the number of grade 9 students earning 5 or more credits as measured by their report card grades by 19.4%, and that is moving from 67% where we ended the school year last year and moving that up to 80%. Yes, I know some of these goals are really rigorous, in particular that last one, but that is my responsibility to really push my staff to come up with some hardcore action plans that are going to ensure that these come to fruition. Finally, for those of you that may be confused, you would probably think, how do we go from 44% to 40%? And you would think that's a decrease of 7.5%. That is actually true. Moving from 44% to 40.7% is actually 3.3% going down, but 7.5% of where we are at 44% gives you the total of 40.7%. So just to not, provide any confusion for you all, That is how those items were derived. I remain consistent as it pertained to grade 3 through 8 with the district overall at 7.5%, but I went to 10% as it pertained to grade 3 because we were focusing on that specific grade level, and all of those percentages are maximum efficiency that is really rigorous in nature to make continuous improvement so that our outcomes are not only increased or improved, but they also are it's a part of the fabric. It's not all of a sudden thing. You know, you have sustained growth when it's incremental, and that is exactly what we are going for. So with that being said, any questions?
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes, I want to start off by saying it's great to see goals in place. I don't know about historically, but there's been a lot of times that this district has just been out on a whim without goals to push towards. And so it's great to see that these goals are there. And I have full faith, you know, that you will do your best to make that happen. And my hope is that this board gives you the room to achieve these goals and allow these goals to happen in our district, because when we do that, we allow true student success to happen and student outcomes to happen. And so I'm happy to see objectives. I'm happy to see goals to move towards, and it's great to see a directive for this district to move. And so I also want to give encouragement to all of our teachers and our principals and our staff members in place who will also be the people with the boots on the ground to get this done. Just encouragement that it's possible, and hope that we will get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago. Any other questions? Commissioner Malloy?
Earlier, I texted Superintendent Strickland and said, wow, you worked with the coaches on all these goals. This is amazing. I'm really impressed. And it turns out you just are well-versed and did the reading and created these interim goals based on the goals that we provided and the feedback from last week. So I just wanted to say kudos and props for taking the time amidst your really busy schedule to create this in such a short amount of time. I think these are wonderful interims for us to have, and they're very reflective of the student outcome-based governance model that we're implementing. So I want to give you props for taking the time without any training, really, virtually any training, and just reading up on the creation of interim goals and creating this type of progress monitoring for us moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Simmons?
Right, thank you, because you are well-versed and well-trained and an expert in the instructional core. And it's so crazy because I was literally having a conversation with someone the other night, literally yesterday, actually, and they were asking, you know, what's happening at the classroom level? And I was so proud to be able to sit upright and look this person eyeball to eyeball and say, one thing I know about the interim superintendent before us right now is that he is well-versed on the instructional core and doing things that will impact the classroom. I love these goals, especially on page 2, how they really spell out and go deeper into the detail. And the more detail, it makes it clearer and more obtainable for people to understand how they need to navigate. Thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. And so I will just echo what Commissioner Simmons said, because, you know, folk have some goals that they can achieve and that we can hold folk accountable to. And so oftentimes what we've had, particularly when there have been switches in superintendents, the goals tend to fall by the wayside. And so, you know, it's just great to see, and it's clear about what our staff need to accomplish. So very, very exciting. So thank you. Any other questions for the superintendent?
Yes, I want to applaud you too on these goals. My only thing is always, as long as you're allowed to do your job, and we are not in the way of you doing your job, then I think everything can be successful, because we have superintendent regulations that we need to abide by. And I would say, for myself, I'm reading and learning, and it's important that I read and learn, because that's how we learn and understand what's going on. And that's what I've been doing for myself. I can't speak for anyone else, but I know that there are superintendent regulations and a lot of things that are done with regulations and policies that are not things that we are supposed to be in or involved in. And that may have been something that has affected other superintendents in the past. So myself included, I am making sure that I stay away from that. And when I see it, I will bring it to the attention of others so that we can try to help you do your job and not be in the way of you doing your job, because I think that's important. So I just want to say that.
Thank
But I
you.
thank you and appreciate, this is really good.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. And so, did you have something?
No, I haven't.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Superintendent, okay.
So really quick, just to follow up, the first presentation, as it pertains to the interim goals, like if, just determining how we move about with our governance model will be the beginning of the year iReady data. So you'll have something comprehensive for 3 through 8. You'll have something comprehensive for grade 3 only. And then at the end of the marking period, you'll have comprehensive data around how our 9th graders are scoring as it pertains to the classes that they're in. How are they doing with, with their progress? How many students are passing everything? How many students are failing one or more? So on and so forth. So that is how the reporting will eventually happen. I do know we are going to eventually have the guardrails conversation in which more goals will come about from that, and then we'll determine the cadence as we move forward for that reporting. But so stay tuned for reports, and yeah.
Can I say one more?
Commissioner
thing?
Simmons?
Yeah, and I'm just, yes, we will continue to move forward. And I appreciate all of the sentiments expressed, and I really, hope that we as commissioners recognize that we must not stand in hypocrisy at the dais, and that we must really check our self-awareness and our understanding of the words we speak, because words mean things, and the actions that we place behind our words dictate hypocrisy. So when we say what we say, I just truly hope that we are convicted, that we sit back, self-reflect, and understand when we are not aligned with the words that are coming out of our mouths. And I'm just going to stop there. And I don't even know if that landed anywhere, but I felt the need to say it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago.
Yeah, and I just want to say, not in response to Commissioner Simmons' points, which I fully agree, Commissioner Simmons, but also with just speaking about the importance of stability when it comes to our leadership in this district and achieving these goals. And I'll publicly say this happily, that I personally believe that also. And I'll say this, I personally believe that the district, and even myself in this role, has made a mistake by going through a superintendent search when we have amazing potential right here next to us. And so even with us going through this process of going through a superintendent search, we also understand that we have potential with us, and now this potential has to go through a whole nother process of application, of trying to prove themselves when they've been in this district, in this position, and have proved themselves in almost 3 different positions. And so I know that decisions have already been made, but I 100% stand by our interim superintendent, and that's because stability is important, and I also stand behind him for permanent superintendent.
That's something that we'll have to work on as a board, because we have established a process that we have to go through. But let me just say, I am thankful for some of the comments that have been made, because what I envision this is that we're moving in the right direction. If what's been stated here is with authenticity, that means that we got an opportunity to move this district. Because what happens is that the district and the community does what they see us do, and the students. So if they see us fighting, they're gonna fight. But if they see us coming together and we are supporting them, then they're going to do the work that they're supposed to do to move this district. So if what I heard, I could say that I'm gonna be encouraged by it. I'm gonna take what folks said and believe that we're going to move this district forward, that even us, that while we can disagree, but that we're not critical in the sense of it is destroying someone, but that it is healthy debate. And that's always important because I tend to learn when it's healthy debate, but not where we're trying to dismantle or disrupt in a negative way this work, because we've got a great opportunity here. I see us moving forward. It takes time for people to learn the process. People are not going to be able to get all they want. It takes at least 4 votes. But I'm excited from what I've heard this evening, and so I'm looking forward to moving us forward. What I will also do is when I see us veering off, I'm going to try to bring us back in a respectful way, and let's get this work. We got work to do. Let's do it, and that's the exciting part for us. So thank you for that. And so
President Elliott.
Oh, certainly, Vice President. I'm sorry. I didn't see.
Thank
I
you.
don't think I saw a hand up, so I forgot you. I'm sorry.
I don't think you can see the hand
Oh,
as
okay.
closed with Teams. Anyway, thank you. I do want to uplift some of the comments made tonight, particularly by Commissioner Simmons and Santiago as well, around recognizing that we do have someone talented. I too am of the belief that there is not this miraculous person that's out there that's going to exist, because part of the issue is the consistency of leadership in this district that we have not have had, and board members have contributed to the exit of even the most recent one. And part of that is interfering in the day-to-day operations, sending these random messages and questions that have nothing to do with day-to-day, and it's not overview focus on like the outcomes of students. And I don't care how you word something, you can't just attach student outcomes to things that are actually not related to student outcomes and then just sort of try to string it back in that realm, if you will. But to the actual goals that are being discussed tonight, I do want to say that I believe that they are achievable and achievable and accomplishable, and that they're realistic to the challenges that the district is going to continue to face when we have families out here who don't have access to resources and the things that they need to be fully whole. And so I just want to uplift that and to the staff that are going to work on these goals, because this is not just the interim or any permanent superintendent. This really is going to go right trickle down from the top all the way down, and it's going to be the staff doing the direct services and putting in their effort. And I will say that I have heard from many staff members so far across the district about their positive interactions with our interim superintendent. And I do think that it takes that positivity and encouragement. And so I want to thank him for that on record as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go down to the next item, which is the superintendent search process, the focus groups. So we need to vote on this at which meet, the October meeting, is that correct?
No, you all need to make your final decision
Tonight?
tonight.
All
Yep, so
right.
they can be shared to the search firm.
All right.
I thought we said October. That's what it was said, that's what we said at the last meeting, it was in October. That means in October, because Vice President LeBron did not, I'm sorry, my mic is not on. Because Vice President LeBron was not ready, we had several members that were not ready, so you said that it was gonna be October, that's what it was stated. So if that's the date that was in from the last meeting.
Yeah, I don't remember the date.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, it was not.
It was not that I was not ready either. I just want to put that on record. It was that this whole entire, there's some confusion of what was stated and for the commissioners to do, and that the board needed to make a decision. And in the
Well,
past, we've
I
done that
don't.
decision by a vote.
Well,
So please do
from the-
not try to put my name in it as if I was confused. I think there were other people confused, including yourself.
Okay, I'm not gonna go back and forth with that, but I was still talking, and at the end of the day, I'm just seeing this information, so I'm requesting that we prolong it, because I need to review what is on this, because there's a lot of things that have been changed and added, and I'm not familiar with what is going on at this point. So, we did say it was gonna be in October, and I don't think it's fair to me and others, that are not here to just remove things that people have already put on, and we did it in a timely fashion and add things and take others out without having a full discussion about them. So as a commissioner, and in respect for others that are maybe not at this table, I think that we need to be able to address that, because that is not fair to the.
Let me just, if you could just, hold on. Let me just go to Rahima for clarification.
So what's happening in October is the actual focus groups are taking place October 14th to 28th. So by continuing to prolong finalizing this list and getting it over to the search firm, they're not going to be able to contact all of these groups and ensure that they have the opportunity to participate. That was the agreed upon timeline by the board.
Let her finish.
Yeah, so in terms of what's been added or taken away, based on your conversation at HC, items have been added. Some things in terms of taken away were expanded. So instead of specific daycare centers being named, you all named CBOs. Instead of naming specific programs at colleges, all college presidents were added. Again, this is just a brainstorm list, and you all tonight are supposed to make a final decision and thereby vote.
All right. Thank you.
Made
No,
these
I'm going to.
decisions prior to, nobody
Commissioner
made
Griffin?
them. Hold on one
No,
second.
no,
President.
you hold
Who
on,
made
or I
the-
turn the
but I was
mic
still
off,
talking.
because I'm going to go to
But I was still
Commissioner
talking to her
Santiago.
about what's going
Yeah,
on.
let
It
me
wasn't
just-
like I was being disrespectful.
Yeah.
I was still, she was answering my question. So what I'm saying is that these things
Yeah,
have
I'm
been
gonna,
taken-
I'm gonna go to Commissioner Santiago and
Okay,
come
then I'll
back to
come
you.
back. Okay,
Yes.
that's no problem.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to very quickly say that we've had this for more than 48 hours before this meeting, and so it's all of our opportunity and our jobs as commissioners to make sure that we look over the information that we get every meeting. And so I was able to look at this, and there has been some tweaks and some changes between last meeting and this meeting. And so I think we just go for the vote. As long as 4 people vote for it, then we move forward.
All right, Commissioner Malloy? Oh, no, excuse me, let me go back to Commissioner Griffin and then
Okay,
come to.
let's be very clear here and being very fair. If you go back to the last meeting, we were ready to vote on it. So was President Elliott. This had been out here for weeks, and because of several commissioners that were not prepared, because of different reasons, it doesn't matter what it was, that was not prepared when this was out here for weeks. Now that someone else may be, the changes that I don't care if it's 48 hours, we was out here for weeks. So in all due fairness, when President Elliott wanted to vote at the last meeting, it was basically, no, I don't want to do that because of this reason and that reason. When I emailed Rahima several times to get clarification, up until that last minute to get clarification, she was able to do that. So if I can do it, why can't anybody else do it? So for me, if these changes have been made and they have been removed, and the voices of the other people have been smothered, and you made these changes without acknowledging that these changes weren't going to be made and things were going to be removed, I don't see how that is fair. I just want us to be fair as commissioners. We cannot. This is not one show rodeo. This is not controlling the narrative. This is being fair and just to all the commissioners on this board. This is what needs to stop in this room.
All
This
right,
is what
I'm
needs
going to
stop.
silence you now because that's
but
extra conversation. Commissioner
President
Malloy.
Elliott.
No,
President
Commissioner Malloy.
Elliott.
He's calling on me
Hold
now.
hold up. Commissioner Malloy was next.
And then let me know.
I think I just have a different interpretation of our last meeting, and I can understand the concerns that were expressed. It was my understanding, or at least my feeling last meeting, is that we had a really robust conversation, and there were concerns brought up by some of our commissioners who were concerned about certain groups that maybe didn't represent like entire university communities. So I thought we ended up having a really robust and healthy conversation about it. And I don't recall the date that was stated at that time. I was under the impression, though, that we would be voting on this at the business meeting tonight. So that is what I got out of it. So if I misheard something, I hope that's not the case. But then some of these changes were then made to reflect that, and I think we received correspondence about some of those changes. And I know some of the groups, like maybe I wouldn't personally have chosen, but at the same time, it's a kind of a give and take when we have a discussion as a board. And
Discussion about it is my question. They were just put there.
All right.
no, no, well,
Commissioner
it is
Simmons.
my,
I mean,
I'd like to
Commissioner-
finish my thought,
Yeah,
actually.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I meant
Okay.
to say that Commissioner Griffin, that Commissioner Malloy was talking, and then Commissioner Simmons.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to say that all of the groups that were added here were mentioned on record on the dais at our last meeting. And I know I didn't suggest some of these, although some of the ones on here I certainly suggested. But I think we had a really healthy discussion about it. And I think that we are ready to vote on this because we do need to move forward with these focus groups. And it needs to happen by October. And these groups, we need to get in touch with them. I liked the changes that we came up with as a board. So I'll put that there. I understand that there are concerns, but
No, Commissioner
She's looking
Griffin.
at me for an
Yeah,
answer,
no,
so
Commissioner Griffin, no.
She was looking at me for an answer, but
Let her finish, and then I'm going to come to Commissioner Simmons. I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Did you finish, Commissioner Malloy? Commissioner Simmons.
Okay. I would like to just uplift, number one, the bit of misinformation around this. Was not a lack of preparedness. I'm sorry, I'm trying to speak
Yeah,
and I hear
let her
a
talk,
conversation
Commissioner.
happening, so I was silent, and I'm going to extend that respect, and I ask that it be extended to me. Okay, so what I am saying is there was never a lack of preparedness. Every commissioner participated in this. There was, however, confusion. And those who might have thought they were prepared did not even understand the assignment. The assignment was for us to list these things. And so with I also spoke with Clerk Wynn, Executive Clerk Wynn, who gave me the understanding that there was discrepancies in the names that were provided. And she just said it again here on the dais. What she was looking for were bucketed examples of groups. So we were to give CBOs, we were to give nonprofit organizations and listed as such. Instead, individual names were provided, so it made it a little more confusing. So when we came to have the conversation, to Commissioner Malloy's point, we were able to see the holes in how we did things. So it was not a lack of preparedness, it was an opportunity to build this list out in the way it should have been built out in the first place had we understood the assignment from the jump, from its inception. So here we are today, and when we talk about lack of preparedness, I believe I'm hearing the majority of commissioners on this day is saying they are prepared. So I'm not sure who's not prepared, but we are. So I'm prepared to vote. Any other, I'm going to stop there.
All right. Any other questions or comments related to?
Yes, President Elliott.
Vice President LeBron?
Yeah, I just want to again state for the record that this is not my first time going through a search, having experience with searches both in the district, outside of the district, fully understanding. There's no reason for someone to reach out to the clerk if you have an understanding. And then I just want to also state on record that the board, regardless of us sending emails, cannot make decisions over email. Whatever is emailed to the clerk still has to be brought to the public for all of us to have public comments and public discussions on how the decision is being made. And this is what the public is seeing tonight. We don't get the luxury or privilege of doing those private conversations, the law doesn't allow us to, and they shouldn't, because we are a public school district and the public has a right to know how school board commissioners are making decisions. And this is what it looks like. So I just wanted to put that on record and clarify, because some people are trying to paint this narrative that to my understanding, I'm going to uplift what Commissioner Simmons just said, that there are people who thought they understood the assignment and thought they were prepared for an assignment that they misunderstood. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
All right,
And
so-
I'm prepared to support what was emailed to us, like Commissioner Santiago said, longer than 48 hours ago, for
All right.
people to read and have an understanding and be prepared tonight.
All right, so it looks like we will have the vote. So Can I get a motion to approve the superintendent, the participants on the superintendent search process for focus groups? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. All righty. And then we'll go down to the, under unfinished business still. The second readings for the naming of the facilities naming, that's policy 7500.
Oh, I have a quick question, President Elliott.
Commissioner Malloy?
Just regarding the superintendent search process, on the second slide, I didn't know if this was something that we needed to vote on or if we had already made a decision on, just the confidentiality within the search process. Did we ever make a decision on that?
Can you respond to that, Rahima?
So what we did was we tracked the different buckets and what Commissioner said. There was not a final vote, and it seemed like the search firm wanted to have an opportunity to have a little more discussion with you all. It's not something that needed to be decided right away, and so I wanted to just kind of focus on the immediate needs.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Simmons, did you have a question?
So let me just make sure I'm looking at this right. There was, on number 4 for 75, are we back on 7,500?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4 for 7,500, I do see the increase of community members, you know, who would activate a school name change and all that. I actually support that. Okay, and so there is clarity, because I think the original version I looked at did not have the 40%, and so this is actually different. So, because I was looking at the school community being involved, and I think that is important, but not exclusive. So this actually, the percentage point that I see here clarifies it for me, so I answered my own question.
Yeah, and let me just sort of add to that, Commissioner Simmons, because some of the conversation I had with Rahima around that had to do with when you look at the school community just in and of itself, and I was thinking more from staff, right?
Me too.
And so most staff don't live in the community. And so I didn't want staff to have that level of decision-making when it's a school within our community.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
looking
that the community needs to have a far greater decision-making than the others. But in terms of how Clerk Nguyen described it, we're talking about parents to be involved in that, students to be involved in that. So it's not just teachers or principals that would have this large percentage of making the decision for the school. Now, my concern around it, and Deputy Superintendent, let me just, and General Counsel, let me just say this: in reading the policy, it somewhat came across a little confusing, because it said in the beginning that it's the Board of Education that will make the determination of name of the school. But then when you go into the bed of the letter, of the policy, we find that it is the superintendent who will bring to us 3 names of schools. And so I think some of that can be misinterpreted. And as we talked about yesterday, that may be why members of the community come to us, because they may have only just read that first part that says the Board of Education is the one that makes the decision. But then when you get down into it, so I'm wondering if there's some way in which we can adjust that so that it's clear in the beginning who makes the decision. Because they can't, community should not necessarily come to us when our decision is on the 3 at the final end. You know what I'm saying? Is there some way that can be made clearer?
We can always revise the language to give further clarity. I am not sure what, I think you would have to assist by identifying specifically like which clause you believe raises the most issue. So because it's set up that the superintendent does some filtering, right? Because really the superintendent is the person who's going to run the forums and the community forums and things of that nature. And essentially filter the recommendations and bring the ultimate recommendations back to the board. So it is kind of set up like that, but if there is a preference for
Yeah,
some
I'm
different
thinking,
process.
and I'd like the feedback from my colleagues. I'm thinking that somewhere in that first statement, it should also include under the recommendation of the board, I mean, of the superintendent, the board would make the decision of the school. Something in that first paragraph that makes it clear the process. And that's not what I'm seeing in the first section. You got what I'm saying?
I understand. So you're
Okay.
talking about basically the opening paragraph there, just to kind of,
That the superintendent also has
got it.
a decision-making.
Some
Yes,
involvement
yes.
in the process before
Yeah.
you get down to the nuts and
Right,
bolts
right,
as it lays
right,
on the process.
where the more specifics
Okay,
are.
yep. So that is.
You
that
all
is-
okay with that? Okay.
President Elliott, if I could, General Counsel, I believe President Elliott may be more explicitly talking about that second sentence. The schools may at the board's discretion be named or renamed by the Board of Education for various reasons.
I thought President Hill was talking about the opening paragraph.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the
On
opening
a
paragraph?
general-
We
Yeah, I
talked
am talking
both
about
of
the
them. Oh,
opening
okay.
paragraph. But what were you saying? I
When we
missed it.
spoke earlier about this, you were referring to the sentence that says that the schools may, at the discretion of the board, be named or renamed. And
Yeah,
that was the one
so
we had a
after further
conversation about.
thinking, that's what I derived.
Right, and the way it's kind of set up like this, again, the superintendent brings recommendations, but the board makes a decision.
Right.
So the board can reject, right, the recommendations. I mean, hopefully that's not happening. But ultimately, the board has the power about whether it's renamed and what it's renamed. But understandably, the process does involve the superintendent.
Right.
So we can absolutely clarify
Okay.
that opening paragraph to indicate that the superintendent does have a level of involvement.
Yeah,
in it.
that's at the outset.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you. And then we'll be prepared.
Yeah, I
There's a
just wanted-
third reading, and go ahead.
In terms of the language change, because this is the second reading technically, the next time you all see this will be in the October business meeting, and it will be ready for a vote. So perhaps we can work on that language and just socialize it at the special meeting so you all can see it and be prepared for the business meeting, if that will work.
I can absolutely do that. Yeah.
All right,
you.
Superintendent? Oh, okay, all right. All right. All right, thank you. So the next item is do we need to do motion to accept the revised policy language at this time, or do we just wait on that, on the motion?
I think you could accept the language and it would change once more. So you're accepting everything else, right? Because there were other changes. So you're accepting everything else.
Right.
And then I will bring that additional language tweak to the next meeting.
All right.
Yep, so you're accepting everything else
All
and then
right.
we'll bring a different change.
So is there a motion to accept the revised policy language as outlined in policy 7500, naming facilities? And this is saying under bullet 4 in the general section of the policy.
So
Is that
moved.
okay? Yeah. Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Any further questions or comments on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. And then I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Griffin for the second reading of additional policies.
Okay, good evening. The following proposed policy items are slated for the second readings tonight. That is policy 0110, 2000 through 2111.1, 2300, 4205, 4206, 5000, 6000 through 6240, and exhibits 2300-E4 and 6110-E1. The full title of these policies can be found in section 26F of tonight's agenda on board docs. Is there any questions? If there's no questions, we're going to move forward to our new business. And I just wanted to bring to you guys' attention also, as we address the new business, this is regarding policy 5153. I just wanted the board to know, as a liaison for the policy, there are things that myself as a liaison want you guys to be aware of. That is my role, and that my role is to give to you information so that we are not, one, in the weeds, two, we are, and that is not overstepping our boundaries, and making sure that the superintendent is we're governing the roles of this, that the superintendent has, and ensuring that his goals are put forth in the correct manner. So I just, reading a lot, like I said, I've been doing, it's important for me to understand my role as a policy chair, and I want to be the most effective I can as a liaison for this committee. And that is why I've been doing the reading that I've been doing, so that I can assure my colleagues that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So, what I'm finding is that a lot of things that we are doing, some of the things that we're making changes on, like I was mentioning earlier, are things that we shouldn't even be touching, because they are things that are governed by the superintendent himself, as in policy 5100, 5153. As I read into the information that was governed under the school law and under NISBA and under other documentation that was brought forth, I was able to capture things that is saying that the compulsory school age and all the things that are underneath this of the 5,000, 5,100, 5,153 are things that should be directed for the superintendent to change, and not for any one of us commissioners to indulge in, because we could be, in turn, can be violating a right, and then we can in turn also be sued, and then it can go to a federal level. So this is what we need to be addressing and being assured as a liaison. That is my position. And so why others
Excuse me,
think,
Commissioners?
hold on 1 second. So why others think that this is something that we should just take lightly, it's not something that we should take lightly. I'm not saying that no one is, but I just want you to let you know where I'm at.
That's
So,
not on the
and
agenda,
so,
President Elliott.
So I'm going to move forward.
The
and say-
policy she's referencing is not on the agenda.
Yeah,
You
so
all
we're
are
talking about
51,
53, 5153,
Yeah, 51,
which is the
51,
managed
53.
choice policy.
Right.
All right?
The preferred managed choice policy is under 5,000, and 5,000 is.
That's not what we're talking about
Okay,
this
I
evening.
understand that, but what I'm
So we're
explaining
gonna
to you,
keep on
5153 is
5153.
part of the superintendent, and the superintendent.
That's all we're going to talk about.
And that's what we're talking
All
about.
right,
So the
all right. No, so
superintendent
let's just
has
focus
the
in on
choice.
that.
I
Let's
am
focus in
President
on
Elliott,
that.
and I am trying to tell you, 5153 is under the superintendent's purview, and that's what I'm trying to say. So we have to go under what he wants to change under this 5153, because it's under his purview.
Can I provide some clarity?
At this time, Superintendent Dr. Strickland,
No, let
are
me
you
take, as
asking to make
president,
any
let me take over
changes
this.
on this
And
5153?
let me refer it to
Provide some
Rahima
clarity.
for clarification.
I don't know if he's making
Let me
any
refer it
changes.
to Rahima for clarification.
This agenda item is about policy 5153. There is an associated regulation. That is not what is the discussion right now, and policy 5100R is not on the agenda either. We're talking about the parent choice managed policy, which you all had last conversation at the August policy meeting. It was agreed to be brought now.
Right.
And so there's a presentation slide, if communications could bring that up.
Yeah, thank you.
This is under the 5,000, which is under the superintendent's purview. The whole thing is.
Let's look at 5153.
Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So Commissioners, as you may recall, at the August 6th policy meeting, you all reviewed policy 5153. This policy is reviewed annually, and the review is to be complete by October 31st. During that meeting, you all discussed language related to these 4 areas, and I'll go through them, but just want to say that you all were not satisfied with the recommendations or the policy as it was brought forward, and asked the administration to do some work. It was agreed upon that they could bring it back for September, which meant it came into the business meeting because there was no policy meeting until December. And that's why we're discussing that here now, so that you all can come to some resolution. So one of the areas of concern was that the policy originally stated for returning families to the district, every effort will be made to place a student at their last school enrolled if the grade is appropriate and within the attendance zone. There was a recommendation from the speaker who spoke at the policy meeting, which I'm fairly certain was Commissioner Powell, and she mentioned that perhaps this should only be at the request of the family. And so there was consideration to have that language. As you'll see, the highlighted language in the far right corner, it says, now reads that for families, returning families to the district, and only at the request of the family, every effort will be made to place that student in their last enrolled school and if grade is appropriate and within attendance zone. So it's just a slight language change that instead of it being almost mandated, it would be at the request of the family. Okay. The next change or discussion was around the voluntary transfer process. So voluntary transfer applications, as the policy stated, voluntary transfer applications will be accepted May 1st to July 31st for the following school years, with students placed by August 31st if seats are available. There was some board feedback around moving the timeline up and a request to have that socialized with parent groups as well as the Student Leadership Congress. The current proposed updated language would state that voluntary transfer applications will be accepted from April 30th to June 30th for the following school year, and students would be placed by August 31st if seats are available at their desired school.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes, I just wanted to say between the last conversation and this new revisement, I'm in full support. It's good to see the clarification as far as safety, medical, and hardship transfers are available throughout the year, and also giving us a chance to provide more stability when it comes to school transfers in this policy, while also ensuring that we're allowing our students to have stability in their schools, seeing the timeline that's allowed in this new revised version. And I also just like to very quickly say, just for clarification, that the board does create policies, the superintendent creates regulations. And so that's a responsibility between the two. And so this is not a policy that's in the weeds. This is just a policy, and the superintendent will create his regulations after. And so I agree with this policy and the revised version of this policy. And so I hope that it gets passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago. Commissioner Malloy?
Thank you. I support the changes that are here in the policy, and I know that making revisions to the managed choice policy, I think we made these, a year and a half ago now. I think they're positive changes, was agreed upon by the board. We need to respect that resolution from the past, but I do support these changes.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. You want to continue?
Yes. So the next area, there was no language in the policy, but the board had
I'm
feedback.
sorry, Rahima.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I raised my hand because I was hoping somebody would see it, but I know it's hard to see, so I'm just gonna
I'm
chime
sorry.
in.
You know it's not anything, any issue.
No, I know it's not
Yeah.
personal. I know
Yeah.
it's so set up.
Yeah.
I just want to ask though, with the timeline moving, if there could be, and I know that this is a second reading, so potentially come back on a third with the potential updated language, but there has to be a timeline to notify parents of the changes, because I cannot begin to tell you how many parents are not notified in time, how many kids are actually sitting home on the first day because parents are not given appropriate information or misinformation. And especially if they're requesting a transfer or they're just coming in, if we can put a timeline along with that other timeline of notification, that's all. Even if it's like they have to be notified by the end of July so that they can have the month of August to prepare, but like notifying even the week that school has already started or after, like, I just want to put that out there, that's all.
Vice President LeBron, can I ask you for clarity on that statement? Are you saying that there should be a general timeline so parents understand like the school choice process? Because the timeline that I just referred to is specific to voluntary transfers.
No, that they're notified when they request a transfer or they're enrolling, that they're notified. It like, especially with the transfers, that when they put in a request that they're notified. And I can give a very specific example. I did have a situation where an individual requested a transfer last school year. There was no communication as to where that application and request was. School started, and the child was still technically enrolled in the original school that the parent requested a transfer from without notification. And I'm saying if parents are making these requests, there has to be communication. And if we have to put it through the policy to ensure that parents are being notified even if it's with updates within a proper time frame so that they're aware, their student is aware, and they can prepare, then that's what I'm requesting. So there was a movement of the process to end on June 30th. And I'm requesting that we consider putting a timeline for notification in addition to that, moving up that timeline up. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes, I think Deputy Turner
Okay.
wanted to. or
yes, it makes great,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, just quickly, we're in the process, our executive cabinet is coming up with 5153, the regulation, and that's where we can actually lay out what that timeline is. But in addition, I will have the communications department work with deputy superintendent and the placement office to get information out to the team, to our families. One of the reasons that causes that bottleneck or that block from families not getting notification is because as of right now, we're going through the managed choice or the voluntary transfer process, as well as trying to place students in the schools. And that's why it's almost not, we're not even able to do both. And the priority is around getting kids that are not in schools into schools. But then we have individuals at the same time trying to find out where their transfers are, and it's just, it becomes very cumbersome for the office. And that's why we were pushing so hard to move up the dates so that we can actually really be more customer service friendly as it pertains to letting families know in a timely fashion where it is that they are in the process. But we definitely will have a communication plan out there just to be very clear with this managed choice policy and the updates.
Okay, and I just will say this, and then I'm done. I would support if it's in the policy or the regulation, but I just would like to ensure that it's documented and then communicated to parents, even when they're making the request in person or they're going to the school. So I just want to clarify that it's on both ends happening and that they understand that if they're making a request, what is the next step? What can they expect from the district? When will they be notified? So again, they can be prepared to have their student come. Because obviously these are all of these sort of granular in the weed issues, but this is what impacts also student outcomes and absenteeism. Like this is a part of it. Absenteeism is a giant elephant of a collection of issues, and this is just one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Santiago?
Just wanted to say I'm in full support of what Vice President LeBron has said.
All right, thank you. Clerk Nguyen, you want to continue?
Yes, ma'am.
1 second. I just want to say this, so we have a clear understanding. When we're making the changes in policy, just for the public, one of the guidelines is to show data showing what is going to work and what is not going to work. And for me, without seeing the clear data showing from what time and what time frame that these things, that the changes are going to be made and why they're going to be made, and not seeing that, that is where I have a clear problem at. So I don't want people to think, because I'm not a confrontational person. I'm a person that is driven by what is there in front of me, the data that proves that, okay, these changes need to be made. And what I'm finding is that we're making changes, but we're not showing where these things are a positive impact or a negative impact. And that is the reason why I push back on things, because I know that there's some things that we're not doing the due diligence at and making sure that we have proven data to assure that this is what is needed for our children's student outcome. So I just want to make sure that people in the public understand me, Jacqueline D. Griffins, as a commissioner's goals for this community. Thank you.
So we are moving.
I just want to say very quickly, me, Commissioner Isaiah Santiago,
me
just go
just-
talk to some of the community and the parents, and you'll see exactly where the issue
All
stems
right,
from.
that's fine, but, yeah. So let me just also say, this district is moving in the right direction. Does it have everything right? Absolutely not. But we're moving into where we become that, where where we can become that district that is #1 in the world. So we're moving in that direction. We are continuously improving our processes. Rahima, we can go back to you to complete it.
Yes, ma'am. So the previous policy language stated, district administration shall annually review this policy for amendment or rescission and present such recommendations to the board in sufficient time for the board to act upon the recommendations to the policy by October 31st. There was a general counsel recommendation, and that was to add the clause "if there are any," so that the new language would read, district administration shall annually review this policy for amendment or rescission and present such recommendations, if there are any, to the board in sufficient time for the board to act upon the recommendations to the policy by October 31st. So that's the final language change that is being proposed. And if I could just say for clarity, based on the comment from Commissioner or Vice President LeBron and then Commissioner Santiago, I want to clarify that the proposed language does require that students are placed by August 31st. And so that date would still stay in there. And so I just want to make sure that it was clear the regulation wouldn't be opposed to that.
All
Yeah, can I
right.
just clarify real quick to that point? It's not that the date that they have to get placed by. I appreciate that too, because it does put a deadline, if you will, on the district to enact. But because there have been parents who did not get a date and that did not occur even within that time frame of August 31st, I'm just asking that they even be notified. Even if there's a delay, hey,
Excuse me.
I know that this is your first choice. It's not available still after 2 months. This is like some form of communication. That's it. It's a basic customer service piece too, that I think does go a long way for parents. And parents want to know where their kids are going to school, especially if they have requested a transfer for whatever reason, whether it's safety, they moved, personal reasons, medical. There are a number of reasons why parents request transfers, and they should have a right to understand where their kid is going to go and be communicated with about that process, especially if there's delays or the options that they want are not available and alternatives are offered. And I'll be honest, I don't even think this should even be at a board level. I do agree with the interim superintendent that it should go under the regulations even, because the regulations sort of spell out how the policy is going to be rolled out. But we don't even do that, y'all. And this is why it's coming up at this level, because we have not been doing that for God knows how long. And so because this policy is up for a second reading, I'm asking that a time frame for communications back to families be established, whether it's, I said, again, policy or regulation, but I'd support the regulation fully. Thank you.
All right.
I just want to add.
All right,
one
this
more-
is the last comment until we vote on it. We're
Okay.
gonna vote on it.
I just also want to add that when we're doing the policies as well, I think that we should have more of the community input, especially when it's involving our children. This is something that I think we're missing out on, especially something like this. So that is something also that within reading, that if you find that because we leave out the community word, their voice is the reason why we also fall into this rut.
So
Thank
let
you.
me just say that we have a speaker's portion. It is available online. It is, the parent groups see this, and so it is out in the public. And so who has, you have? Yeah, that's what I did say. Yeah, so I'd like for us to vote on it. Can we vote on this? And then if there are questions later that we can, because we're still here, it's almost 10 o'clock, and we still have an executive session.
Before we
We
vote.
don't have an executive session? Okay, so we don't have an so y'all want to stay at 12?
No, but,
All right.
go ahead, because I do want to say, I do support what Vice President lifted
Okay,
around the.
all right. Commissioner Santiago?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask, I know that between the committee meeting and now, there was conversation about going back to the parent engagement groups. And so I just wanted to see if that was done between this meeting and the last meeting and this meeting.
All right, so, you have a question?
That was one of
You
your
wanna respond to
concerns. That's one of the concerns we had, and it was not done.
Commissioner Griffin, please, you talked about respect. Honor the president in terms of who
You're
the
right,
president is.
President
All
Elliott.
right, thank
Let's
you.
move forward.
Rahima, you want to respond?
Not to that. That would be something for administration to require.
Commissioner Malloy?
Yeah, just or to Commissioner Santiago's point, So had we agreed to do that? Go back to the parent groups the community groups?
I believe the administration did, and so that's why I was asking the question to the administration.
I remember,
I want to allow them to answer. I'm not sure.
I just remember hearing that. I'm just wondering if that had been done. But again, I just also want to point out, just to all commissioners, that we represent the vision and values of the community as elected officials. So this is our charge to make these types of decisions. Anyway.
Deputy?
So I just want to say one thing. I do know that some of the commissioners did say on this day, as one being Patterson, we did do our due diligence to actually get their input, and only the Bilingual Education Council actually came back with the information. We then also did hear that, yes, it was in the summer, it's not the best time, but I am pretty sure that Deputy Superintendent Turner solicited information from other individuals in some way, shape, or form. But Deputy Superintendent Turner solicited information from various individuals within our district and our community to actually come up with the recommendations. But like I said, it is a mixed bag because you did have individuals say, we did make our due diligence. It becomes difficult to keep prolonging things, trying to get input. And we have to get this done by October. She does have a monthly meeting with those individuals, those parent groups. I even know that I'm having a meeting with them coming up because that's a part of my my 100-day plan. And, you know, I can even ask more information, but it's going to be the same sort of thing, and I'm just going to simply defend what it is that we are proposing here.
All right, thank you, Superintendent. So can I have a motion to forward the Parent Preference Managed Choice Policy
Motion.
5153 to the October 8th special meeting for consideration of resolutions for first readings to follow Policy 2410. So motion by Commissioner Santiago, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those who oppose?
Nay.
All right, thank you. And so we'll move down for the question log. No information on that? All right, thank you. And so there's no executive session. Commissioner Santiago?
Yeah, very quickly, I just wanted to add, I know that we were having conversation about board goals and things of that sort, and I know that this is under new business, but I would love for us to at some point have a conversation about our partnerships with the community. Throughout the last few months and weeks, I've been hearing a lot of people have many difficulties with partnering with the district, and we know that this district has a lot that they deal with, and so sometimes it may be hard to respond to somebody who may want to donate or may want to start a program, but the truth is we can't do this work by ourselves. There's a lot of needs in this community, you know, for all of our students and all of our kids, and so I'd love for us just to have conversations at some point on how we are partnering with the community and different organizations that may want to partner with the district.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago, moved by Commissioner Santiago, seconded by Commissioner Griffin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good night, everybody.
Don't forget the board meeting
Oh, yeah, please fill out the board survey, please. Thank you.